All right, good morning, everyone. It is 9:15 on Monday, August 31st, the last day of August. We want to make sure today we are playing smart and not giving back any gains we have on the month. Want to close the month strong. Hope everybody had a good weekend. We are going to start out looking at SPY here as we're seeing a bit of a pullback to start the day. And that means that the main things we are watching here on the 5-minute chart is the 100 and 200 period resistance. Those are going to be the key indicators for today's strength. So right now we had a low set pre-market here at 197.35. I ignore these long lower wicks as I don't believe them. I don't think the price hit down there. It's just a little flash trade or something like that. So anyways, we're going to call the low here at 197.35, setting higher low here, and looks like we're going to come up and test this 100 period moving average resistance at the bell. That level is 198.47 and a key level to keep your eye on. I am very cautious on the markets here, thinking we're going to see a bit of a pullback, if not today, then tomorrow, as we have seen 3 big green days in a row off this bounce. And I don't think we're going to see a V-type recovery like we saw back in October of 2014. I think it's going to be more of a consolidation here as people take their 3-day awesome profits, and then a higher low to be set compared to the sell-off low, and then to work back against moving average resistance. So let's look over our pattern watch list we had go out last night. There were some stocks on the list that are seeing some action this morning, one of them being Twitter. Twitter, the key test today is going to be the daily middle Bollinger Band of 2762. That level will change with the open as another day gets factored into the moving average, but we will see if a close above that is definitely a bullish sign and a close below it would be bearish. We are seeing an upgrade here and some nice price action. Higher highs, higher lows, continuing upwards. We are watching this 20 period moving average support on the 5-minute chart. 2773 is that level. And we will see how strong we open with Twitter, and we're going to keep our eye on that middle Bollinger Band into close. Another one that is open higher is SUNY. SUNY is our pre-market, or no, not pre-market. SUNY is one of our swing plays that we pointed out with the close over $10 2 days ago. We had some great follow through to $11, a nice 10% gain on that swing call, and looking like on Friday the candlestick with the upper wick on the daily chart had me thinking we were going to see a pullback and some consolidation before a move up to $12, but today's pre-market action is showing me that there's more strength than I saw. We're set to open 50 cents higher. We did briefly trade above $11 pre-market, but that level affirmed itself as resistance, and we're going to see if we can get above it first thing in the morning here. Currently at 1080, we have the 20 period moving average resistance of 1090. Support is all the way down at 1051 on the 100 period moving average on the 5-minute chart here. So we're going to be watching SUNY closely for an $11 test of strength first thing in the morning. We also had Netflix on the list. Netflix was on the fence. We were leaning bearish, but if any sign of strength showed up, we could definitely be bullish on Netflix. This morning is showing us that the bearish call was correct, and there is 120 resistance to be had. So right now we're looking at the 100 period moving average resistance on the 5-minute chart of 116.42 and the 200 above it at 116.83. Currently setting some nice support on a double bottom here of 114 and 114.02. So 114 is support for this morning. If we see a break of that, we're going to be looking at the 10-day moving average support on the daily chart, and if we see a break of that, it could go down to 110 fairly quickly. So we're going to be watching Netflix for these bearish activities. Another one of our swing plays on the pattern watch list was Loco, which doesn't have any pre-market volume right now, so we'll check in on that in the morning once the bell gets going here in 11 minutes. DWTI is seeing a nice spike as oil is pulling back. There was a 2-day oil spike where it ran at least 8% in those 2 days, and that was a little overextended to me. I expected a pullback, and that's what we're seeing here. DWTI set a high pre-market of 135.59, so we're going to watch that level into the open. We have the 100 period moving average support of 126.65, 20 period moving average resistance of 132.36, and 200 period moving average resistance of 137.39. I would expect some bouncing around today to find a range between the 100 and the 200 period moving average support and resistance levels, but DWTI is looking good for a bounce as of right now. It is recently hitting its lows pre-market, so we are going to look for support to be found off this 126.65 level. and we will be watching it into the open. Now let's look at, I had a UGAZ request. UGAZ is pulling back pre-market here. 162 is the all-important must-hold level. It's been found as support multiple times on the daily chart, and we're seeing 175 is some stubborn resistance. So we hit the 10-day moving average resistance on the daily chart and pulled back into today. We're going to be watching for 162 to continue holding. If 162 breaks, it'll be a bearish sign, and if 175 breaks and we get a close above it, it'll be a bullish sign for UGAZ. All right, we got 10 minutes here. Let's start getting into some requests. Apple on the 5-minute chart is pulling back from, it had a significant pullback pre-market, found support, set some nice higher lows and higher highs, but then it hit that 100 and 200 period moving average resistance and pulled back. We just saw a giant spike. See, that's why I ignore the big upper wicks and lower wicks, because that trade right there didn't really happen. It was just a little flash. One share got hit up there or something, and so we're ignoring that. Definitely pulling back. If we see a break of 111.90, it'll signal more downside for the morning. It just hit 111.90 and held, so that's a very critical level that we're at right now. We're watching the 200 period moving average resistance of 112.59 and the 100 of 112.68. Those should be some strong resistance as we have pulled back from there. Now we'll go over to Facebook. Same thing, drastic sell-off first thing in the morning, support found, higher lows, higher highs, looking good, hitting 200 and 100 period moving average resistance and pulling back. Same thing we just saw with Apple, but looking a little bit stronger as it's not testing its low for the morning. So we're looking at resistance levels here of 90.53 and 90.56. Those are these 100 and 200 period moving average resistance. We would ideally like to see the 90 level hold as support, and it's going to come down and test that level very soon. I'll check back in on SPY right before the open. We got 8 minutes to go here. Here's S. Not that much volume here. The upper wick on the daily chart for S signals some pullback. We had a high, I believe, of about 530, and if we see weakness up at 530, it might be a good time to get into some S shorts. That being said, if we blow through 530 looking bullish, then we could see a move to the upper Bollinger Band resistance, which will be around 555 today with the open. Tesla on the 5-minute chart also hit the 100 period moving average resistance and pulled back, broke below the 200 period moving average resistance support and is looking fairly bearish. We have a new low set compared to this morning, which we haven't seen in the other stocks. The other stocks were at least holding their early morning low, not Tesla. So we got 200 period moving average resistance of 245.65 and 100 of 247.40. Those are two resistance levels. And on this pullback here, we're going to have to zoom out to the daily chart to see where we find support. I can do that really quickly here. On the daily chart, we are looking at the middle Bollinger Band of 244.32. We are currently right above that level. And after that, we have the 10-day moving average of going to be around 240 to open this morning. So 240 will be very telling for Tesla. Disney on the 5-minute chart is at that 100 period moving average resistance right now and has the 200 as support. So support is 102.21, resistance is 102.39. Very tight range here. Going to be watching that into the open. 100 will be psychological support, and we will see which direction breaks for Disney here, either the 200 support or the 100 resistance. We got 6 minutes to go here. I'm going to run through as many as I can. We got Baba on the 5-minute chart. Also hit 100 period moving average resistance and pulled back. Did set a low at 69.01 and then another one at 69.01. So 69.01 is key support. 20 period moving average support is 69.29, currently just above that level. And the resistance that it pulled back from is the 100 period, and that is 69.70. So we can just call that 70 is going to be some psychological resistance, and right now we need 69 support to hold for the bulls in the morning. UWTI is pulling back as expected with the oil pullback after being very overextended. Had two 20% gain days, currently hitting the 100 period moving average resistance and pulling back. It's going to try and keep the 200 period as support, so 115 is resistance and 112 is support. If we see a break below 112, we could see a nice move with DWTI. If you're going to be playing DWTI, you might as well be keeping your eye on UWTI to see where some key levels and support are there, just to see any weakness in one will indicate strength in the other and vice versa. I just covered SGIM, Amazon, 200 and 100 period 5-minute resistance are lining up together. 516.45, 516.32, those are key levels. Currently just below it. If they get above it, that'll be a great sign for Amazon here in the morning. So keep your eye on those two levels. Them being at the same level increases their strength, but will also increase their support if the stock price is able to get above it. Here's Google, also trending down, needs to hold its morning support of 625.52. 100 period moving average resistance is 628.15. So that's a key level to get above. But 625.52 is the support level to hold right now and not very far above it, so that should get tested fairly soon in the morning. Checking back in on SUNY here, trying to find some support after pulling back. 100 period moving average support is 10.52. We could easily see a pullback to that level first thing in the morning, just because we had a bit of a gap up here, even though it wasn't a gap up compared to the yesterday's price. This morning there was some prices skipped, so we could see 10.52 be tested there. Got 4 minutes to go here. MU has resistance of the 100 and 200 period lining up at 1582 and 1583, currently at 1580. Those are very important levels to get above. Support from pre-market is down here at 1565. So 1565 must hold as support, and 1583 is resistance. Check back in on SPY. Currently set a double top here pre-market. We had a high of 198.39, another high of 198.44, so a 5 cents gain, but that is enough with the action that followed it for me to call that a double top. So trying to set a low here and work back up towards breaking 98.44. 198.44 that is, and you can see 198.45 is the 100 period moving average resistance, so that's going to be the key level to break above. Want to see this low here hold. That was 197.72. So SPY is looking bearish to start the day. If it is unable to get above these 100 and 200 period moving average resistances, we are going to maintain that bearish sentiment. If it is able to turn these into support, we will zoom out, check out the daily chart, and see what we're looking at for SPY. Check back in on S quickly, as we had 2 people commenting on it. I am expecting weakness in S and a pullback after the daily candlestick in the long upper wick that shows profit taking. Currently below 100 period moving average support of 518. We got 512 support down here. If we see that 200 period moving average support fail, we will come down to the $5 psychological support level. So Twitter is trading just above that middle Bollinger Band on the daily chart support level. We're going to be watching that into close today. Definitely a bullish start with the upgrade. And DWTI is looking for support on this 100 period moving average of 126.79. Here's UWTI seeing a nice bullish spike, trying to get over this 100 period moving average resistance of 115. It just ran up to 117, but is unable to maintain that level. We'll see if this candlestick closes above there. We got 1 minute until the market open here. If Tesla loses the middle Bollinger Band on the daily chart, we got the 10-day moving average support right there, but it's not very strong, so I would anticipate a move down to 235 and potentially 229, the 200-day moving average support. So here comes the bell. SPY is seeing a little bit of green here. We're going to be watching this 100 period moving average resistance. SUNY's opening at 1070 and going to pull back, it looks like, to that 1050 100 period moving average on the 5-minute chart. Netflix is down 2%, following through with the bearish sentiment. Twitter's up 3% and currently losing that middle Bollinger Band on the daily chart, but there's a long way to go today, and all that matters is if it closes above that level, it is bullish. DWTI looking good at 130, but want to see some more strength there, as UWTI was seeing some strength right into the open today. So here's SUNY coming down to that 1052 support. Just saw a huge spike in volume. And it looks like the bulls might have bought up that dip. We'll see if 1056 can maintain as the low for today. DWTI held that resistance to start, held that support of the 100 period moving average, and now it's looking to get over the 20 period moving average resistance of 132.05. Seeing a little bit of pullback here. So here's SPY testing the 100 period moving average resistance of 198.43. SUNY saw a nice bounce off that 1056, a few pennies above the 100 period moving average support we pointed out. $11 is going to be the key test today. Current high of 1082. Going to be keeping our eye on Loco as well, down 1.5% to start the morning. It's one of our swing plays. So here's SUNY attempting to set a new high of day. And it's looking like it's going to do that here and test $11 resistance. Here it goes, looking nice. If this 1089, a little bit of a wall falls, it'll be a great sign for the bulls. SPY's struggling a little bit here with this 100 period moving average resistance. Here comes another 1089 test for SUNY. Broke it, looking good. Coming up to $11. 1098. DWTI seeing a little bit of a bounce here. Netflix is recovering a little bit. Let's see where we can find resistance for Netflix. Currently hitting the 100 period moving average resistance of 116.37. DWTI coming up on 20 period moving average resistance of 132.17. I will be using the alerts channel a lot more when I am not talking on live webcam. So we have a very big wall of resistance at 1091 just showed up on SUNY, so we're going to knock the price back down and set a higher low, hopefully, than the 1056 low we saw this morning. Although that resistance just got eaten through, it appears, or it was a fake wall. We'll see. When I say a fake wall, I just mean some 600 showed up here on the ask and then it disappeared fairly easily. So that could be someone flashing up a big sell order and then pulling it before it gets bought up. So it's DWTI, watch this 20 period 132 moving average resistance. SPY's looking good here, breaking above the 100 period moving average resistance, and the 200 is going to be the key test. That level is 198.65. Tesla had a very big spike. We're going to wait for a back test of this support, 247.35. If it pulls back and holds that support strong, it'll be a nice solid sign for Tesla here today. Here's the markets pulling back from that resistance level. So you can see the SUNY bulls early this morning took their profits just under the $11 resistance mark. A nice quick flip from the 1050s and 60s to 1090s is what we just saw. We'll see now if they reload and make another attempt at the $11 resistance. Twitter's looking good here above the middle Bollinger Band, currently making its way towards 28. Netflix hit 200 period moving average resistance and pulled back. We'll see if it tests that again and how much strength will be there. DWTI is getting above the 20 period moving average resistance. That level is 132.23, currently trading right there. SPY at low a day, losing some steam after getting rejected from those resistance tests. If we break these levels here of 197.72, we are going to be bearish on the morning for SPY. Make sure everybody you read if you're new to the chat room here, read the pinned item on the right side. It is a general guideline of the chat that we are going to be enforcing starting today, and we'll be cleaning up the chat, deleting messages that are off topic. Don't be offended if your message gets deleted, and we'll send you a friendly reminder to check out the new guidelines and to make sure we keep this a tool to be utilized as efficiently and organized as possible. So DWTI keeps setting new high of days, looking really good, getting above that 20 period moving average resistance. Next resistance is up at 137, the 200 period moving average coming down, and we had the high pre-market of 135.59. So the bounce off this 100 period moving average support could have been a nice entry point. Seeing some nice follow through here. Here's SPY bouncing off the 20 period moving average support and looking to test the 100 period resistance again. That support is 198.04. We can call it 198 even. Currently above the 100 period. The previous high candlestick was 198.56 it made it up to, which is the high of the day. We'll see if we can set a new high of the day here. SUNY looks to be consolidating in the 1080s, upper 1070s. Twitter has broken 28 and is continuing bullish, looking great. We pointed it out bullish on our pattern watch list last night and had no idea anything about any upgrade that was coming. That just goes to show you that the charts can indicate moves that are going to happen. You know, people were loading Twitter before this upgrade came out, and that could be what I saw on the charts that made me like it for a bounce. But a nice 4% move this morning, pulling back from 28 resistance right now. We'll see if it can turn that level into some solid support. So far so good, looking to close above the middle Bollinger Band on the daily chart. So there's SPY getting rejected from the 100 period again and coming down to test the 20 period support again. I am bearish UWTI because I am bullish DWTI, and they are inverse of each other. Every time DWTI goes up, UWTI goes down. So DWTI is looking good here above 133. Resistance is up at 137. Looking for a back test of the support of 132.27. If that holds the 20 period moving average, it will be a good sign. SUNY pulling back from the 20 period moving average resistance of 1088. Currently looking to try and set a higher low and consolidate between the 100 period moving average support and the 20 period moving average resistance. So SPY set a new low of day. Definitely looking bearish here, breaking the 20 period moving average support. We are watching 197.72. A break of that is going to be a bearish morning for SPY. That's this level right here. A break of that, and we're going to come down and test the low of the morning at 197.35. Going to be watching Loco here on $13 even support. We'll see if it can hold that level or if it even pulls back that far. Here comes SPY testing the low of the day, and we got a new low of the day coming up on that 197.72 level. Suni seeing a lot of volatility as usual, a great trading play, and also a great swing so far. Twitter has now pulled back 40 cents from its high, so definitely worth keeping your eye on. Support is a 20-period moving average, which it is testing right now, 27.76. Low of the day is the next support after that. DWTI setting new highs, looking great. 134, we're coming up to 137 resistance that was pointed out. So look where SPY bounced off, exactly the level I pointed out, which would indicate a bearish morning. Still haven't broke that level, but that just goes to show you, looking at some previous price history, where did it find support in the morning, seeing that level, and that's exactly where it bounced off of. So now it's coming up and hitting resistance of that 20 period. It was acting as support for a little bit, but that resistance level is now 197.99. Just got a question about bearish indicators for Tesla and Netflix. I don't have any bearish indicators right now on Tesla. Tesla's looking great this morning. Still looking for a pullback to test this 100-period moving average support of 247.34. We saw some nice follow through on the second green candle, but this long upper wick shows profit taking. This third candlestick here in the 5-minute chart is going to be pretty telling if Tesla is going to come back and test this 100-period support, or if it's going to keep this uptrend. Right now I'm feeling like it's going to come back and test this support level. On Netflix, what I looked at was the daily chart, which made me lean bearish, unable to get above the middle Bollinger Band with a lot of gusto, and just after having a 3-day bounce, expecting some profit taking to come in, as we are seeing with SPY and a bunch of the tickers that we have been following. So DWTI is working on a new high of day here. Let's check back in on SPY. Bulls are trying to hold that 197.72 level, but I don't think it's going to last. We'll see if Suni follows the market down. It's getting closer and closer to its low of the day, and we're going to be watching that 100-period support on Suni of 1053 currently. So as we see SPY coming back down to test its low of day, which just held right here, but not through with that yet. I would look, if I were looking to play Netflix bearish, I would see that the market's pulling back and see that Netflix is hitting the 200-period moving average resistance for a second time. So if I saw weakness and a close on this candlestick below 100-period moving average resistance of 116.34, that combined with a break and a new low of day for SPY would have me leaning bearish on Netflix relating to this resistance on the 5-minute chart. but SPY is still hanging tough. It just held 197.72 for a second time, so that is currently a double bottom here in the morning. SUNY is setting a new low of day, breaking below that 100 period support. 200 period support is 1044. This is now very strong resistance of $11 on SUNY, as it has been the high of the day twice in a row. That's where profit has been taken, and it is looking like we're going to consolidate a little bit here, as the candlestick on Friday indicated. But the indication of that was the upper wick on the Friday candlestick, which showed profit taking from $11 all the way down to $10.40. Hey JC, you must not be listening to the webcam, but I'll get to you later. So we had the bounce for SUNY off the 200 period moving average support of 1044 and currently back above the 100 period of 1053. So that was a nice sign by the bulls. We're watching the volume here. Only 1 minute into this candlestick with 4 to go. We want to see an increase in volume by the bulls. SPY looking better now, back above 198 after holding 197.72 twice. Pre-market here it held it, and then it held it on 2 tests this morning. So seeing the market bounce here, and we are seeing SUNY bounce with the market. So we're going to keep our eye on SUNY and SPY together, as they still are maintaining that trend of trading together. We're watching any over $3 here. We have the $3 psychological support. I'm pulling up the daily chart really quickly to see where the 10-day moving average resistance is, and something tells me it's going to be right at $3, and it's at 301. So high of Friday was 314. A break of that is bullish. A close above the 10-day moving average resistance of 301 is also a good sign. RSI is coming off oversold, and the MACD is very close to a bullish cross. Looking for an increase of volume more than 276,000 on the day. Still not seeing the volume I'd like to see on any. DWTI setting a new high of day, continuing onward. Still eyeing that 200 period moving average resistance of 136.81 now. 4 nice steady green candlesticks, a great open and a great first trade this morning if you caught the pattern watch list, and we're watching for entry on DWTI. Here comes SPY down to test the low of the day again. I've got my eye on Loco for a bounce off of 13. We'll see if it gets that low. Current low of day is 13.19, which is where it's at right now. So a lot of weakness here in this candlestick for SPY. You can see the upper wick and pulling back below 20 period moving average resistance. Watching that 197.72 mark, which is about to be tested in the near future. DWTI continuing its strong trend towards 137. SUNY is pulling back with SPY. Here's a new low of day for SPY. And look at that quick drop. Just saw a 13-cent drop in seconds and even more. So we are bearish on SPY for the day. That was the indication right there. I don't mean for the day, I mean for the morning, excuse me. Anything can change in the next 4 hours, but for the next hour or two, we are looking bearish. Let's see if Netflix pulled back as expected from that 200 period resistance with SPY there, and that's exactly what happened. Broke below the 100 period support and now is testing the 20 period support of 115.52. There's SPY continuing downwards. So I'm going to sign off at 10 a.m. this morning and hop back into the chat room. I'll be utilizing the alerts channel a lot more for nice, concise messages, and we'll utilize the general chat for questions and discussion on topic. So look for Netflix to break these previous lows right here of 115.32, 115.33. So a break of 115.32 will indicate a test of the low of the day and could be a bearish development for Netflix. You can see it's already struggling with this 200 period moving average resistance. It's pulled back multiple times. Definitely levels to keep your eye on. So we have SPY now testing the 20 period moving average resistance again, 197.94. Apple is also hitting the 100 and 200 period moving average resistance and pulling back multiple times, making another attempt right now. That's another stock where it's got the 20 period as support and the 100 and 200 period as resistance. So some key tests of those levels right now. You can see pre-market it pulled back twice. Here's Tesla slowly coming down, almost testing its 100 period moving average support. 247.32. The low of this candlestick was 247.74. So got within 52 cents right there. On DWTI, you're going to be looking for the 20 period moving average support to hold of 132.62. You guys, the low of the day is 163. We're watching that 162 key level. PCLN and Apple, of the few that I have in front of me right here, are the least bearish in terms of the big stocks that are pulling back with SPY. Seeing if PCLN can maintain that 1250 psychological support level. And here we go again on seeing SPY with that long upper wick getting rejected from the 20 period moving average resistance. Watching volume on this one. If we see a long wick with a lot of volume, that shows profit taking and bears stepping in. Still have 2 minutes left to go in this candlestick. It's going to be a pretty telling one. So the past 3 candlesticks were unable to maintain that 20 period as support. Here's the increase in volume the bulls are trying here. If we get a close above that resistance level and turn it into support on high volume, it'll be a good sign for the bulls. 1 minute left to go in this candlestick and currently trading at the high. Back above 198. But the key level to get above is 198.64, which will require a new high of day. Watching Twitter here, turn to 20 period moving average support, back into support. 27.76 is that level. Looking for a break of 28 again. That would be a good sign. So there's Tesla hitting the support exactly as we wanted it to. Back testing the low of this candlestick, 247.32. Support was 247.32. Imagine that. So SPY was able to close above a bullish volume, above the 20 period moving average resistance. We will see if we can get some follow through and another close above it with this candlestick. The key level is 197.94. Flip-flopping back and forth now, but this volume is making me a little bit of a believer that the bulls might be able to make another run at the high of the day. I'll be signing off in 4 minutes here and posting a bunch in the alerts channel as well as the general chat channel. SUNY is coming down here looking to test its low of the day at 1046. So SUNY is a good example of sticking to your game plan. My game plan was consolidation on SUNY, as you can look at the pattern watch list that we posted last night. This morning the open higher. We needed a break of 11 to prove there was strength there, and that is not what we saw. So now it is looking even more so like consolidation is going to take place. I'm expecting at least $10 support to be tested, and if that does not hold, we could see all the way down to 950 potentially. And like I said in the pattern watch list, it could go all the way down to 820, and that would still be a higher low than the low we saw. And if it bounced off of 820, that would still maintain the bullish uptrend as we made our way back to $11. So I'm signing off in 3 minutes here. We'll see the last little bit of SPY action. I will leave this webcam up, but I will unplug the microphone and be talking in chat. There's DWTI at 137, hitting the target, exactly pointed out. Let's see if it can break through it and continue this very strong bullish morning, providing a great opportunity for entry here off the 100 period moving average support. That new support level of the 200 period is 136.64. We'll see if it can hold it on a back test. But DWTI is looking great, and a great example of the pattern watch list being utilized for profit. Make sure you check that every night. UWTI is the inverse of DWTI, so every time I am bullish DWTI, that means I'm bearish UWTI. And there goes UWTI taking a dive, new low a day, so that means that DWTI is making a run at the high a day. I am bullish DWTI. So here's SPY back below the 20 period moving average support, back to resistance. Looking at the low of these candlesticks, we have a low of 197.53 and a low of 197.52. So if we see 197.52, the low of the day break, obviously more bearish continuation, looking down, looking like we're coming to test that level right now. DWTI is trucking onwards. Keep setting new high of days. Congratulations to anybody that got in on that first thing in the morning on that little pullback we saw. 138 is the new high. Nice $10 move from the open. And here's SPY testing the low of the day right now. And there's the new low. Continuing with the bearish sentiment from the morning. And SUNY is hitting a new low with it. So we got 10 o'clock here. I am going to sign off. I appreciate everybody tuning in. I hope you had a good start to your morning, and now that things have settled down a bit, we can maintain this bearish sentiment and try and make some plays happen here. We got Netflix pulling back from that 200 period resistance as pointed out. If we break below this level of 115.32, we are going to see some downside to potentially 113. Keep your eye on the 10-day moving average support on the daily chart, and after that we're coming down to 110 on Netflix. Here's SPY continuing with that bearish follow through and a good start to the morning. So thanks for tuning in, and I'll see you in the chat room.